welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by the one and only, the human turret, one of the best ARs to ever do it. Give it up for the world champ himself, Sam LaRue, a.k.a. Octane. We got some of the best analysis in the game. The world champ himself, Christopher Duarte, Parasite. We got the executive producer of The Flank. Give it up for Benjay Nassim. And we got another world champ, a multi-champion, a legend and icon to the Call of Duty scene. Give it up for Doug Censor Martin, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure. Hey, Doug. It's been a while, Doug. It's been a while, man. How you doing, Doug?
It's been a long time, Tom. What's up?
Hey, nothing much, Doug. You know how to bring the energy for you, man. You know that. Come on, Dougie. You know I got you. Yeah, how's everything going, Doug? How's life? I know you broke the world record. How you feeling, bro?
I'm just trying to get healthy. That's all. Just every day is a little bit better. Just trying to get a little bit better every day.
Hell yeah, bro. How the hands doing? I know you were having problems with, like, after the fact, your hands were all fucked up. How's that going?
Yeah, I couldn't close my hand throughout November, so I started playing Black Ops 6 on December 1st. And now I have a wrist problem, so I'm just trying to baby it. Yeah. But everything seems to be getting a little bit better. Just baby steps.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you joining, Doug, last second. I know Pat couldn't make it tonight. He had a bail, so I appreciate you joining in and the final seconds. But I hit up Doug, and he was instantly in here. So shout out to Doug for joining up. We got Benjay Nassim in the building. Ben, how you feeling? You feeling all right? I know you were sick yesterday.
Let me read to you a tweet I sent this morning, Tom, that sums up my feelings. Okay. Good news. Don't feel like I'm on my deathbed after sleeping 11 hours. Bad news. I have to watch Tottenham play, which might make me sick again.
And then they lost.
We'll just let that tweet sit.
That's how I'm feeling. Tottenham's horrible. Then we got the one and only Duarte. Chris, how you feeling?
Good. Finally, the online matches are done for the first stage. This stage dragged, but we did actually have quite a bit of Game 5s and exciting matches throughout this stage, so I can't be too mad. I'm just really excited to watch some land COD, interested to see how this game plays. I'm excited to see is it Toronto that's hosting it, but they're just hosting it in Madrid, right?
Yep.
Correct.
So I'm excited to see what Toronto puts on, because this is the first event we've had outside of ESWC in the CDL that is overseas, right?
Is it the first one from the CDL overseas?
That's not true. They had
the London
first year of the CDL. We had a London home series, and we had a Paris challenge back.
Since COVID. Then,
it's been a while. It's been a while, Chris.
It's been a long time. Yeah.
Of course. And then, of course, we got the one and only Sam LaRue. How you doing, Sam?
I'm great, man. I'm as good as I could possibly be. LAT lost me more money.
Yep. Guys,
I'm done putting gifted on it.
I was the only one on the show to say Boston was going to win today. I feel pretty good about that one. And Chris, to go back to your point, Chris, I was just talking to people in my chat because my people were saying it during the watch party. It literally feels like this game's been out for a year yet, and we haven't had a major yet. We haven't been to a major yet. So I'm super excited for the major in Madrid. It's going to be a good time. But we're not going to waste any time. We're going to hop right into it. We had 3 matches to cover. Then we're going to take a look at the Major 1 bracket. And then we'll get an update in fantasy. And then Benjay will sync us out with a poll. We'll get through it for you guys. And I appreciate you guys joining up as always. Let's switch over and let's get into the news. We got Boston Breach going up against the Los Angeles Thieves. This one ended in a 3-2 victory for the Boston Breach. It goes all the way down to a map 5. It was Boston who come out hot and win the first 2 maps, the Hardpoint and the Search. LA Thieves with a big bounce back into Control and the 4th map, Hardpoint. But it was Boston with the Masterclass Search in the last map to take the series. We'll scroll down and take a look at the stat sheet. Almost every single player negative for the Boston Breach except for Snoopy with a 1.23. Snoopy had 103 kills in this series, over 10,000 damage. This guy was going absolutely insane. And then on the other side, you have a 1.11 from Envoy, a 1.20 from Dan Ghosty, a 1.08 from Hydra, a 1.25 from Scrap, but it just wasn't enough for the LA Thieves, as all of them were positive. Scroll down, take a look at the match MVP, and of course, it's the one and only Snoopy with a 1.29 in Hardpoint, a 1.64 in Search, and a 0.60 in Control. So Boston Breach coming out and taking care of business. Doug, we'll start with you. These are your guys. This is your team. You helped put this team together, Doug, and I know a lot of people doubted this team, including myself, and a lot of people on the show going into the year. But, I mean, Doug, they've been absolutely insane this year. Just the teamwork has been on point. I think Snoopy's been an absolute superstar for these guys. How do you think the boys played today, Doug?
I thought they played amazing. Their energy's great. They always come out with great energy in matches. Every time I'm listening to them talk in the game, there's never shadow of doubt. There's always a lot of confidence. There's a lot of great small talk. They're always communicating with each other. They have a lot of confidence in each other. They bounce off each other very well. I love our sub duo. I love our AR duo. I love our roster. Everyone's always picking up the slack for each other, and that's really what you want in a team. It's not really about the individual. Whenever you have a team, yes, you have superstar players in the league, but you could really amplify your team's success if you have the right people surrounding each other. And I feel like with our roster, all credit to the players. They've been doing a phenomenal job all season long. And honestly, like, I'm just very proud of where they're standing right now. And heading into Madrid, I'm really excited to be at the major with the boys and really just cheer us all on.
Hell yeah, they've been looking.
You're going to Madrid?
Yeah, I'm flying out tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, you're getting there early too. Would you going there early just for a few days, Doug, just to enjoy Madrid or what?
We fly tomorrow and we get there on Tuesday morning. So we'll be there for the entire week. So just trying to be the best that we can be and just focus on the match versus FaZe.
Cool. Yeah, it's going to be a good one for sure. Ben, what did you think about the series? We had Boston Breach come out, get the W.
It's a bit of an interesting one because you look at it, you're like, how did Boston win with Cammy, dropping that stat line? I think Doug would be part of a victory in that way because it was all teamwork, like he said. I think, Thieves kind of battled back after that slow start.
Holy
with a pretty convincing Hasi win, and then, a back and forth protocol. But Boston just looked clinical in the S&Ds. They looked clinical in searches for the most part this entire season. The teamwork's on point, the way they bait and switch, the way they work bloods and situationals. I think on the Thieves end, man, I've been concerned about this S&D all off season, and going in this major, I feel like this is going to be maybe a way in which Thieves don't get a great placing, is they just don't look themselves or what we expect from them in that game mode.
I mean, yeah, I think the teamwork's off right now for the Thieves, but I want to get everybody else's opinion. What about you, Duarte? What did you think? Boston came out, got the dub. Keep in mind, everybody did have Thieves in this call, except for myself. Everybody had Thieves. Remember that? And they called me crazy, Doug. Doug, they called me crazy, Doug.
Is this the 85th time you're going to mention this on the show?
Nah, I'm going to mention it a couple more times. Okay,
whatever.
To be fair,
you know what I mean?
To be fair, I didn't really expect Snoopy to come out and just go fucking Super Saiyan because the first two maps, that guy literally took over. Like, it was actually insane. The fact that they were able to win with Cammy having 50 kills basically in 5 maps is fucking insane. That might be a generational stinker. No bullshit. In terms of being able to win that. Honestly, I don't really know what to say. It was fucking insane by Boston, but dude, the Thieves, yeah, these guys need work, bro. Their S&D is fucking god awful.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk to Sam because obviously, these are Sam's boys, right? So I wanted to just talk to Sam and see what's going on here, Sam. I mean, Sam, obviously the boys, they come out some days and they look great, and then some days they just fall flat. I mean, what's going on with Thieves? I think a lot of people expected more consistency from these guys this year, and right now it's just looking a little sloppy.
There's a lot of problems, man. I mean, I could talk for 30 minutes about it, but I mean, in this specific
Sam, go ahead.
series,
The floor is yours.
I mean, the first 2 maps were all Snoopy. I think the P3s on the first map, Vault, they got insta-broke on both. I think that was the reason they lost the map. Yeah, I mean, Snoopy was doing literally everything. There was a clip of him spin botting on the last P1, he got a 4 or 5 piece. The games 3 and 4 were clean. I think they were nothing to take away from that. Those were just really clean maps by LAT. In the game 5, they were just reacting. There was no proactivity on the map at all. Boston's mid rounds were much better. I've been saying it since Rewind was in the map pool that Boston's mid round search is some of the best in the league. And I think this game 5 was a perfect indication of that. They were just so much more decisive on their raps on offense, the way that they were playing their man downs. It was just having LAT on the back foot the entire time. Mm-hmm. And their S&D continues to be their Achilles heel.
I mean, Sam, what are your thoughts? Because I got a follow-up question, Tom. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good, Ben. Go ahead.
What are your knock-on thoughts that, Thieves actually have had a pretty poor luck with first bloods? They got a majority of them in that first map.
Yeah, it's 6 of them in the first map.
And in the last map, they couldn't get bloods, and obviously saw the same issue. What do you think they need to do, especially on the offensive side?
I think map 2, there was a lot of trades. It wasn't like they're getting bloods and losing man downs. There was a lot of pretty quick trades in those. So I think the first bloods in map 2 was a little deceiving. But overall, I don't want to harp on them, but Paco is just not good at search right now. And I think that it's a problem. We've brought it up on pretty much every series that they've played losing searches. Paco is not where he needs to be right now in search and destroy. And I think that his chemistry with Dill and the way that they go about trying to get first bloods or trying to be proactive on the map, it's just not what it needs to be. Red card, we saw them jumping into ticket together, which is an indication that they're at least trying to work the map. But there's just not enough decision making with the 2 subs in search that looks comfortable. They always look like they're off. And that's truly the problem for me right now is that the sub duo is just not where they need to be in search. Because I think Scrap has been unbelievable. By the way, I do want to tip Ernie here. He's been great in Search and just overall, but
I feel like Scrappy's been good just in general,
in Search.
Except for
yeah,
Hossie.
Scrappy's been really good. But again, I don't want to harp on Paco because like obviously he has potential to be MVP, greatest player in the game. And I do think that he'll reach that form again. But right now, it's showing that it's hurting them.
Yeah, for sure. I want to go back to what Sam said. Boston's mid-round adjustments in Search is like beautiful to watch. Like just the pace that they play at, like you can tell they're so decisive and they move around the map together. Like the mini map is honestly like a work of art sometimes when you're watching S&D. Like the 3v3s and the 2v2s, like they're always just wrapping a map, staying together. They're moving quick. Sometimes they'll cut the map. Just like those mid rounds. Like I think a lot of that comes down to like their play style and stuff, but they got to be communicating really well in these S&D rounds. Just somebody's got to be stepping up in the comms. Doug, who's kind of the guy do you think on his team to kind of step up in the comms? Because I feel like for Boston, like I don't know who that guy is. Like I don't know who the guy is that like kind of gets these guys together. Is it Purge, Cammy?
Purge is definitely I would say Purge is definitely the guy that brings us all together. He is our glue piece. But honestly, Cam's comms are incredible. Joe's comms are great. Eric's comms are drastically better as well. There's always a lot of small talk happening in the maps. Like every single map, I'm listening to every single match that we play, and I'm very, very blown away. I'm very blown away, honestly. I'm very happy and I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing. Everyone has great small talk. Everyone's always decisive. If we're going to lose a round, if we're going to lose a situation, if we're going to have, whether it's a 2v3, a 2v2, a 2v1, there's never a shadow of a doubt with any of the plays that we're making. There's always a lot of small talk and there's always a decisive move being made. And it's everyone on the team talking. It's not just one person saying, everyone do this one thing. It's really everyone constantly just communicating with each other and just making sure that they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I feel like last year, like when we were watching Snoopy, everybody knew how talented he was, right? Like mechanically, everybody knew that he was insane. It was just the decision making that we felt was kind of holding him back. And this year, we feel like he's been so much more consistent. Just the plays he's been making has been just a lot better from last year. He's making smart plays. He's making really good plays. What do you attest that to, Doug? Where do you think he's just adapting and putting in a time? Do you think the people around him are helping him out? I mean, right now Snoopy's playing like just S tier COD right now. So where's it coming from? I mean, obviously, again, super talented. But what do you think was that biggest turn for Snoopy?
I think a lot of the lessons from last year, obviously we had a lot of divided camps last year and a lot of broken teams last season. So the number one goal and the number one priority going into this year was making sure, one, we have a great talented team, but two, we have a team that's very tight knit. Like everyone in our team is extremely tight knit. We keep to ourselves. We're strictly business. We're here to win. We're here to play. We're here to improve. We're here to get better. There's no excuses. Everyone owns up to their mistakes. And if somebody's having a bad series or a bad map, we don't blame that person. We just keep it pushing and we just keep on playing. And everyone steps up. And that's the key. You just want to have a good team of players that are going to step up, especially have each other's backs too, because those little things all matter. Like everything adds up when it comes to winning, especially at this level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%. It's been awesome watching Snoopy and the boys play. They've been going absolutely insane. And then on the other side, any final thoughts on LA Thieves, guys? I mean, obviously, I know, Sam, you want to see these guys go to LAN and turn the fuck up. I know a lot of people have these guys being better on LAN. Do you think they're going to play better on LAN?
I think they'll rise to the occasion, yeah. But, I mean, you only go as far as your map pool goes. And unless there's some situation where, like, they show up to an event and they just, like, hit a crazy hot streak on a map, which can happen. It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. You can't bank on that, but their map pool is very shallow at the moment. And, obviously there'll be improvements on LAN, I think, with this team. But it's not enough to overcome the map pool that they have right now. They're backed into a corner in a lot of matchups.
I mean, to Sam's point, they banned Hossie and a hardpoint in this series. Like, they were in our chat chirping yesterday, and now it's out. Like, I just don't see where the bread and butters are outside of control.
Yeah. Do you think? What do you mean, Ben? They were in our chat chirping yesterday. What do you mean? I mean, who's they?
Go back.
Ernie was.
Back.
We had a little pinch. We had a little pinch
chat.
Episode yesterday with Ernie because Sam he was kind of talking to you about that situation on the P2 Lambo on the very end of the game when I forgot who it was picking up well when the last two players were coming from mid and front. So maybe just some confusion from Thieves on how to play the map. You think they're just not seeing eye to eye on the map or what?
It's just a learning curve. Some teams pick it up quicker than others, and they just seem to be a little bit slower. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously looking.
I'm worried because obviously I think that they should be better than they are. I'm not going to sit here and cope and say that they're good. But nobody. You can't say as a fan of Call of Duty and looking at the team that you can't expect them to get better down the line. And I think that the number one thing that people can look at this roster with is kind of compare it to the Optic team last year. with Shotzi and Pred, just learning how to play together, learning like the intricacies of being a new duo and like trying to play off of each other, being in a new system when you don't have to be that guy. Yeah. Like Pred came from Seattle where he needed to do everything all the time. Paco came from New York where he had to do everything when Kiz was also dropping a 1.5. So I think it's a learning curve. Crazy switch up from the beginning of the year where they're the greatest forever and they're going to beat everybody all the time. And now we're sitting here saying it takes time. I know how it sounds, but I think that it does take time to form chemistry with a new sub duo. So do I expect them to win Major 1 at this point? No. But that's not to say they couldn't go and get a top 3.
Yeah, I don't think Thieves is going to be one of those teams that are on like blowed up watch or trying to make changes at their majors. Like I think these guys like have the talent to obviously be a top team. They just have to put it all together. But go ahead, Ben. What were you going to say?
No, I'm saying if there's a stage to like play your worst COD at, it's this one. Especially when you're a team like Thieves, you're going to make champs. Like that's where you're going to make your money. Champs, EWC, the big prize pool events this year.
Yeah.
Like you take advantage of the reps in the beginning of the season. They clearly have some stuff to work on. Now what, like 1-4 or 1-3, I think in January. Like if it results in them getting top 4, you know what you need to work on and you power through because the rest of the season is going to be a sprint. So.
Yeah, I mean Thieves are 5-2. It's not like they're playing the stage horribly, right? But I mean, it's
really they've really fallen off in January though. Like the difference between December and January is pretty significant. And you could probably attest this to really that they played a lot of rewind and double rewind in a lot of those series in December. Rewind comes out, they're not that good of a Hacienda team. They have to respect some really good teams on protocol, on vault, and you see this is kind of a result of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Duarte, you got any more final thoughts on the series?
No, you guys pretty much covered it all, to be honest. Doug's a Boston Breach expert, and Sam pretty much knows LAT already, so I'm just sitting here like agreeing the whole time.
Yeah, all right, we can move on to the next one. We have a couple more matches to cover. Obviously, some very good ones. Just a friendly reminder that I did predict Boston to win that one.
When I picked Boston against FaZe, they get 3-0.
I mean, it was just a masterclass prediction for me. But let's go into the next one. I did predict all 3. Let's go into the next one here and see what's going on. We got Atlanta FaZe going up against Cloud9. This one ended up being a 3-2 victory for Atlanta FaZe. Goes all the way down to a map 5. Atlanta FaZe now 4-3. Cloud9 1-6 in this stage, so they continue to struggle here. Atlanta FaZe, they come out first map, and Jesus Christ, what a first map from Atlanta FaZe. I mean, there's a period of time where Cloud9 had like 50 points. I mean, they couldn't get anything going. Then we get into a grueler second map, goes all the way down to a round 11 where Cloud9 was able to clutch up. We had a comfortable control from Atlanta FaZe in a map 3. The Volt hardpoint, that map 4 was insane. I don't even know what was going on that map, to be honest with you.
I don't think either team knew what was going on.
That map was actually nuts. Just constant trades, constant floods. It was just so hectic. There was so much going on, and Cloud9 were able to scrap that one away. So they were able to push it to a map number 5 where Atlanta FaZe was able to get the W. We saw a big 1v3 from Celium as well. Some big clutches coming in. We saw a 3-piece car bomb from Dylan Attach. So a lot of crazy shit happened in this series. We'll scroll down. We'll take a look here at the stat sheet. We had a 1.06 from Tyler Arbizi. We had a 1.43 from MC from Celium with the most damage in the lobby, or almost the most damage in the lobby. Get it? Kremp has him beat by about 100 damage. Draza with a 1.08. And then you have Simp with a 0.9, but everybody pulling weight in the damage department. And then on the other side, everybody negative. You have Simp with a 0.87. You have Dylan Attach with a 0.79. Kremp with a 0.97. Mac with a 1.0. He's the only one keeping these guys from the red carpet. MVP of the series goes to Celium. He's had a masterclass these last couple of weeks, man, with a 1.39 in hardpoint, 1.23 in search, a 1.79 in control. So he's just dropping insane numbers. We'll go to you first, Chris. Atlanta FaZe, they go up against Cloud9. Cloud9 continuing to struggle. What did you think about the series, Chris?
I mean, FaZe played like their worst maps, like maps that we don't see them play, and they still won the series. Dude, Celium is fucking insane. Like I had a feeling at the beginning of the season that because Cell's got a lot of flack about the way that he plays and how it's kind of been holding the team back, and how he needs to speed it up. He's doing this, he's doing that. At the beginning of the season, I wasn't convinced that he was going to rise to the occasion, considering their team's performance was fucking awful, and he wasn't playing too good either, right? The LERs are struggling, but after that break, dude, he fucking turned it up. I think somebody tweeted me that his last like 5 matches, like his stats, and I think he had like a 1.5 or 1.4 in literally every single match. That's fucking absurd.
That's fucking insane.
Especially in a game where everyone right now is saying the AR is not that good. That is tippable as fuck. As for C9,
That's also
bro,
a bunch of bullshit, but you can continue.
Yeah, as for C9, I tweeted this, bro. This is the first time in a while where there is a fuck ton of ARs on this chopping block. Like the AR role when it comes to like challengers and stuff like that is going to be coveted, and there's a lot of great ARs that have been performing in challengers. Obviously, it's a completely different ball game, but there's a lot of people that are kind of on their way out or have just yet to find their footing, and it sucks to see. Some of them are people that we know and love, but at the end of the day, bro, when people aren't performing, especially at this level, man, some of these teams, they need fucking help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think C9 right now on maybe a blow it up watch. But what do you think, Doug? What did you think of the series?
I was almost disappointed in FaZe, honestly, because it seemed like at times they were just trying to throw the series away, honestly. Like, I was just looking at a lot of the pacing, especially in the Hacienda control. It seems like the ARs on Cloud9 just don't have proper pacing with the team. There's a lot of gaps and there's a lot of holes that keep on constantly happening, and then FaZe takes advantage of them, and then it seems like FaZe just constantly outslays and constantly just gets, and keep in mind, I think everyone is looking bad against FaZe right now, to be fair, but I mean, I don't know, Cloud9's pacing to me just seems a little bit off, and I was almost pleasantly surprised to see it go to a game 5, and even in the game 5 when Celium 1v2'd, it just seems like there's so many small plays, and granted, I know FaZe is playing really well, they are playing like the best team in the game, so everyone kind of looks stupid right now playing against them, but there's just so many small plays where I'm watching FaZe do impossible clutches, like Celium's 1v2, and then you have Attach's 3-piece grenade on the like next round. I was like, dude, I don't know how this series is becoming this close. It seemed like FaZe should have won it a little bit more convincingly, but Cloud9 was just inching away, basically fighting and clawing and scrapping, doing everything possible to keep this close, and they kept it extremely close, and they almost got the win. But at the end of the day, FaZe is still going to do FaZe things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Sam? What do you think of the series?
You guys kind of hit the nail on the head for me. I think MC is top 3 right now. I don't think there's really an argument against it. He has been genuinely unbelievable to me. This series was definitely longer than it should have been. I think that FaZe is definitely testing a little bit with the vaults. The map 4 was just an absolute clown fiesta. It went down to like 10 seconds left on the clock on a vault, which is just both teams running at each other. But it was a good win for FaZe. For C9, the AR duo again, we've harped on it every series, it seems like, but Mac and Kremp are just begging for some assistance at this point. We were kind of hate watching a little bit on the watch party, but to see Mac and Kremp playing at the level that they are, granted the level they're playing at is still negative, but like it's kind of respectable with the performance that they're getting out of Dylan, Attach, and Seb right now. So C9 could definitely be looking for upgrades if they bomb out a major 1, but FaZe definitely looking top 2 right now, and I think I would have them in Optic in grand finals right now.
Yeah, that's what I said too. So I can see FaZe Optic in there. What do you think, Ben?
I don't think the map pool was as trolly as I thought it would be, kind of looking back on it. I mean, the only thing that FaZe could have maybe done differently is taken Ossian and Hardpoint instead of Vault, but like the vetoes kind of make sense if you see the maps that are strong at. And I think to Sam's point, like FaZe really isn't going to play a lot of Vault Hardpoint at this event because of the strengths of some of their opponents. And I think a lot of their series is going to come down to their Hossies because teams are going to respect the strength of FaZe on a
What was the vetoes on this
hardpoint.
map? Sorry to cut you off real quick, man. What were the vetoes?
It's like fucking Skyline Veto Simulator, I think.
And that's C9 statistical best map in both Hardpoint.
They don't
and
play
SMA.
that. FaZe doesn't play that map often either. I think they've played a little.
Do you guys
bit,
think
but
that
not
FaZe-
very
They
often.
played a lot of Skyline Hardpoint.
I feel like FaZe should have played.
Yeah, I don't think the Search. I haven't seen them play Search.
What'd you say, Sam?
I feel like FaZe should have played Hossie in this series. Hardpoint.
I think maybe their thought process is C9 looks so bad in 2 like vaults they played that they figured they should get another rep on the map. But I agree with you. I think another Hossie rep would have been good because that's a map they're going to play a lot.
That's what
expect
that's
us to
where
play
that's where my
major.
head's
How many
at.
times
Like,
have
there's
they
a lot of
played
teams
it?
that really like it.
Vault, this is their 3rd time FaZe playing it, and they played Hossie Hardpoint twice.
I was talking about Hossie twice. They only played it 2 times. Yeah. I mean, it was definitely one of those series where FaZe was testing map pool. I think we all expected that going into this one. I think the biggest thing to talk about right now is Cloud9. Like, what's going on with these guys? I mean, I couldn't agree more. I feel like the ARs. I feel like Sib and Attach are just having a hard time getting kills right now. I feel like when I'm watching them, like they're just all on different pages. Especially in everything, honestly, in the respawns, the S&D, like sometimes you see Mac trying to make a play, make a solo play, or Kremp sitting around making a solo play, and the ARs are sitting in the back of the spawn trying to play kills. It's like I just feel like they're kind of all over the map. Like I don't see any camaraderie with them. Do you think that they should be a little bit worried going into Major 1? I mean, if they don't perform well at Major 1, I mean, what's the next steps for these guys? Right? Like, you don't want to dig yourself too much of a hole. That's for sure.
I think the issue is they have 2 ARs that are turret players, and they don't have like a true flex on their team. Like, they don't have like, you see like the type of players you're seeing other really good quality fast ARs making on the map. Like, these guys lack it. So either Dante or Dylan needs to figure that out this Major, or I think one of them has to go.
I mean, I thought that was supposed to be Sib.
Was
Sib not supposed to be the flex player on his team? Sib has flexed before, where he pulls out a sub or in an AR.
Yeah, but Dante's never been that good of a third sub, is he not? He's been serviceable, right? Like, he's never been like an insane
going into the year. I mean, it's a lot different talking about him now, but going into the year, I think we all expected Dante to come into the year and kind of slay like he did last year. Dante's just not finding kills right now.
Especially after frying at champs, right?
Yeah, I mean, Dante is not. He's not finishing any kills. He's not getting any kills right now. Go ahead, Ben.
No, I mean Dante. Like, I think when they inevitably, I think if I make a prediction, it probably means Dill rotates out. I think when you move and switch Dante's roles, like, I think he's going to start to flourish. But I think, like, as we've seen in the past, like, he's not the prototypical like Jiraza type. He's not going to be willy-nilly pulling on a third sub and hitting sub routes. Like, that's not really his play style. He's a power position AR type. And I think it just kind of doesn't mesh well with Dill's play style. But at this point in his career, is also kind of the same player. And I just think one of them's just going to have to go. And then I think eventually it all makes sense because Mac and Crep are playing well. They don't have a third player really matching the pace correctly.
Yeah, one or both. I'm not gonna lie. One or both. Doesn't matter which one. If you want to separate, if you want to like actually nitpick, but there's a lot of pretty decent ARs out there in challengers right now that they might be looking to show out. Like, even if you don't necessarily drop them completely, you can always try people out or keep like maybe attaching Sib on the bench or one of them on the bench and then like try people out. Like, I know it's like kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Ben, who they play first at the Major, but we could probably just take a look at the bracket at the end of it.
We're talking about which team? They're losers.
Cloud9. I mean, I wanted to take a look at the bracket anyway, so we'll just wait to see how the bracket will play out, and kind of see what it's looking like after we talk about these matches. But any other final thoughts, guys, on this series? I thought it was a close series, but actually, one more thing before we move on, I want to talk about a couple of these clips. First one I want to talk about is the 1v3 from MC. What was the thought process here with C9?
What is the thought process of Mac watching the mini map and see MC shoot pool and he's still shouldering vault?
Right, that's why I'm confused. So you can see now, like, MC, he's pool. He just got to kill pool, right? At this point, I mean, you can watch vault because you don't know where MC's going at this point, right? I'll fast forward it a little bit. Right here, MC, he starts to shoot, right? He's lighting up. He's lighting up at pool side. Why is Mac still...
Mac, what the fuck are you looking at?
Why is he still facing pool when MC...
Casper the Ghost is in a 2. Maybe he doesn't know it's a 1v2. Maybe he thinks it's a 2v2.
But what's even weirder is then Mac ends up picking it up and then Kremp picks up vault, right? Like, they kind of switch places here. So now look, you see Mac's watching pool and Kremp's watching vault. But when MC slides in here, right, and he shoots here. He shoots again before he slides in. So he's popping up a mini-map.
What are we looking at, bro?
What? Yeah, what the hell is going on in this
clutch? Look at Mac. He's shouldering, bro. Look at the mini map.
Yeah, I mean, you guys gotta like be a little bit more fair. Look at how fast MC shoots and then slides.
Brother, excuse me.
Look at right here.
Pause when he shoots. Pause when he shoots. Pause when he shoots. Pause when he shoots.
Doug, this is bad.
Pause it when he shoots.
This is bad.
Pause it when he shoots.
That shit is bad,
Pause it the second he shoots.
I will. Yeah, I'll pause it the second he shoots. So, boom, it comes right here. Boom, pause. He's already shooting at this point now. Right, he's shooting, and then he ends up sliding in and hip firing. He ends up shooting again.
Slow mo, bro. Slow mo, please. So I just need to see. Keep watching. Slow mo. Keep looking at the arrow on the mini map, bro. He shot. Look how much time these guys have to react. Crep reacts. He reacts. Just look at this arrow. He's still shooting.
He's shooting.
Full 2 seconds.
12 seconds.
I was like, oh shit.
No. Hold on. You know what's worse? Look at the bot. Look at the timer. Look at the fucking timer. Look at the timer. Look at the timer. 12 seconds. You really think this motherfucker's gonna go vault?
I mean, even right here when he starts shooting, I just like right here,
15.
I would expect both of them to just slide out and challenge him, or if anything, with the time that's left, one guy challenge, one guy just run. Like, one guy can even just kind of play his life.
Maybe no nitpick here, bro. They just double slide the right in front of him and just kill him.
One side to chow together, bro. You got to play like a
they
triangle
just double slide, bro.
Otherwise,
it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. And then also the last round with the Abizi piece. How did they let Abizi just waltz through pool and shoot this guy off bomb? Like, look, Max on a bomb. Abizi just waltzed through pool door, jumping out of balk, finds one, slides the
guy on
corner.
truck doesn't have the
Well,
angle to
hold on.
hold
But
that.
back up. How did Dante just give it up? Wait a minute, I want to see what happened.
Okay, so you can see one guy in the truck. That's Dylan attach. You have Dante number 4.
But Dante's
Dante's looking
watching cat.
catwalk. He's watching catwalk right
He
now.
jumps out of the only angle that they can't see. He jumps out of the balcony on the left side. Dylan can't see that, and Dante also can't see it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And he jumps in and hits vault. He just split the gap.
Yeah, he split the gap, but Sam, don't you think they should be watching the balk?
I mean, of course, yeah. In hindsight,
I mean, yeah, of
absolutely.
course,
But, like,
hindsight, absolutely.
Abizi literally hits the one opening that they have and gets a 2-piece for
To
it.
be fair though, that's like a thing every team's gonna do. If a guy goes up there, bro, and you're shouldering, you see the entire balcony and you just see nobody, you're jumping out. Like there's no way you're not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just watching
they just
this.
thought they had everything, bro. Like they were assuming
they
Dill
thought-
had the left and Dante had cat, so there was no reason to watch pool. But Dill didn't actually have that balcony on the left side.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just looked rough, to be honest, for C9 here in the S&D. Just like a couple rounds that are just like, what the hell is going on with these guys? But good place from Abizi. Good place from Atlanta FaZe and the boys. They're able to get the W today. Any final thoughts, guys, on the Atlanta FaZe and Cloud9 series?
I'm shocked the
FaZe-
series went to a game 5, round 10. I can't believe
Yeah.
Dylan attaches 3-piece Kobe grenade. Celium's 1v2. I mean, I don't even know how this series went the distance the way that it did, but I think it would have been great for C9 to get some momentum going into the major and get something on the board. Unfortunately, these points matter a lot, and now they're on the hot seat going into the major. They're going to play, I'm pretty sure they play the loser of us and FaZe in round 1. So it's going to be an uphill battle for them, and they're going to have to get some points on the board.
That
We're
was
getting dead last, by the way.
That was an insane nade.
that
I was
was
gonna
an
say, we're not
insane
even
nade.
at
That was
the-
crazy.
We're not even at the first major, and the incredible lapses in judgment and just like brain dead shit that I've seen on this game already is
That's what I'm
fucking
telling you, bro.
wild. Like,
I'm
bro,
telling you, bro.
people
My
actually,
villain
people are actually just like
Insane.
shooting. No one's reacting. All the information. in the world. I get it, guys. We have Caster, right? We have a lot more time, but like, I don't know. It just, to me, it's a lot of the times it just seems so obvious.
Seems like people
that
are
shit's
blacking out.
inexcusable.
Seems like
But
people are
there's a-
blacking out.
like, I try not to
Yeah.
use hindsight when we break down stuff on the show,
Same.
contrary to what Scrap said yesterday. Like that clip that we just watched was pure hindsight. Like Abizi just like hit the gap. That's whatever. That's just a tough play. But like there's a lot of plays that we break down or we watch happen on the show where I use the information that the players should have available to
Yeah.
them in the clips. And it's just the most, it's like why I got so angry yesterday on that Hossie with Miami. It's like I use the same information that those players should have in that moment, and the plays that like they would make versus just the obvious one, or I guess not so obvious one. To Chris's point, like there's been so much bad caught up to this point. And it's just frustrating to watch.
You would almost
You know?
assume that sometimes people are not communicating, dude. Like, or they're not communicating properly, and it just, I don't know. There's just lots of lapses.
A lot
in
of
judgment.
tweaks going on. A lot of tweaks. And this is happening on online COD. I don't know what the hell's going to happen on LAN. LAN's about to be crazy. Like Madrid's about to be insane. And I'm also excited just to see how some of these guys perform on LAN. But anybody else got any other final thoughts before we move on? No? All right. Let's move on to the...
I think Lamar should do a lot of scouting this week because I think these guys are going to be done by the middle of the day on Friday.
All right, Ben's calling an early exit for the Cloud9, but let's move into the last series of the day. We had Toronto Ultra going up against Optic Texas. This one ended up being a 3-1 victory for Optic. Pretty comfortable from Optic, to be honest, in both hard points. I thought it was a masterclass in the hard points from them. They also take the second map, S&D. It was only the Volt Control where Optic end up falling here. Toronto also get their first loss of the season here. They were 6-0 going into this match, not counting the Mountaineer tournament, of course. They were 6-0 going into this match, and they get their first loss here. So good wins here from Optic. We'll scroll down. We'll take a look here at the stat sheet. It's Kleenex who's saving these guys from the red carpet with a 1.02. And then you look at the other guys. You got a 0.85 from Beans today. You had a 0.8 from Insight. You had a 0.85 from Joe Deceives. 3.8s coming in from the Toronto Ultra Camp. And on the other side, Dashy, 1.09. Hook, 1.37. Kenny, 1.01. Shotzi, 1.13. I mean, it was unbelievable from these guys. We'll scroll down, take a look at the match MVP. Not surprised it's Hook with a 1.28 in hard point, a 2.75 in search, and a 1.32 in control. I mean, I'll start things off. Hook is insane this year. He is literally like lights out. Like his timings are on point. you never really see him getting caught sprinting anymore. Like, he's always got his gun up. He's always pinning teams back, constantly pushing spawns out, constantly pushing out cuts. And he's always winning his fights. He's just constantly winning his ones and winning his fights. And he's got to be super annoying to play against. Like, him and Shotzi running around the map and just splitting gaps. And just, I can only imagine from the opposing team just trying to track these guys is probably super annoying to play against. I think the biggest thing right now is, can Hook replicate it on LAN, right? Like, I think that's what a lot of people are asking. Because, Kyler, in the past, like, online has always cooked. But he's looking different to me this year. Like, this isn't looking like online cheese to me. This is looking like Kyler's just a step ahead right now in his game. And on top of that, he's putting in work, bro. I mean, he's live every day playing S&D8s, playing chows, just playing whatever he can, whether it's respawn A's, chows, or just playing the game, just extra, just always on, always streaming, always playing ranked. I think just the extra work that he's been putting in has been helping him a lot too. Just putting in, just getting that work ethic in. But we'll go down the list. We'll start with you, Ben. What did you think of the series today? Optic Texas going up against Toronto Ultra. They get the 3-1 victory. What you think?
And the Optic continued to look extremely comfortable in hard points. And I thought the red card S&D was playing has kind of become slowly sort of a map that they've gotten a lot of reps on. And Toronto was kind of good early on it. And I think the mid rounds were great out of Optic in that. I was very surprised that Toronto auto vetoed or rather vetoed Aussie on a hard point in this series. I know that's a map that they have kind of avoided playing. But Optic is just like the best vault team in the world. And I don't quite understand how you're giving another team their best shit. So it is what it is. I think Toronto just immediately was putting themselves in the hole, especially once they knew, in those vetoes that Optic was going to take Team A. You're getting Vault Map 1. You lose that, they've got the momentum. But Toronto battled in the middle, and just want to see more consistency from this Toronto team. I feel like Joe Thieves is a little bit hot-cold. I think sometimes he's on, he's like unplayable. Sometimes he comes into maps and he's just kind of not really able to hit his timings. And I'm just very curious what Toronto will get on the bottom side of winners bracket a couple days from now.
I agree, Ben. A lot of inconsistencies in the Toronto case. I mean, that's just kind of like those type of players, right? Like, I feel like Joe's always kind of been like that. Clean X Beans, like sometimes they'll like absolutely pop off and just look insane, and then sometimes it just looks like they're sprinting and just running and dying. So that's something they're gonna have to find that balance before the major. But Sam, what did you think of the series?
It was clean from Optic. This is a super impressive series for me from them. The control still seems to be the monster under the bed for them. They're just, I don't know, their control is still a little shaky to me, but the way that they play hardpoint and search right now, I mean, you could call them probably the best hardpoint team next to FaZe, if not better than them. To echo your point, Tom, I think Kyler, the minute he stepped on this team, has been fucking unbelievable for them, and I hope that he plays the same way when they show up to Madrid, because he's impressed the hell out of me. The thing I really want to mention, though, is like the way that they play hardpoint is with no identity, and I think that's a good thing, because usually teams will play respawn a certain way, whether it's relying on like a chaotic play style, for example, or relying on like a super fundamental play style like rotation heavy and hold heavy. And I think that having both sides of that coin in their hardpoint bag is insane to watch. Because you have Ken, for example, on the first map, he rotated P3, all 3 rotations, got through to Art every rotation, made the heads up play. Same with Bruce, always in the right spot. But then you have on the flip side of that protocol hardpoint with Kyler getting 75 kills in dub, the whole map, untradeable. Same with Ant. Like, you have different gears in a game mode, and I think when you can play like that in hardpoint against a team that is as good as Toronto, I'm not going to downplay how good Toronto is. It's just super impressive. They can play hardpoint a multitude of different ways, and I just want to tip them for that, because it's actually crazy to watch them play right now.
Can I answer really quick, Sam? Just a quick point. I talked about this earlier on Coffee and Cod. I was very curious about that hardpoint matchup, because Toronto is the worst rotation team in the entire CDL. They're at 40% rotation rate, and to your point, like Optic playing ahead, Toronto statistically one of the better breaking and kind of middle or end 40 teams, but like once you can't execute those breaks, you're not playing ahead of the game. It's gonna be really hard to beat some of these better teams. So want to see if Toronto can play another way. But if they go with this break heavy style against, say, a FaZe or an Optic or even a Boston that wins a lot of rotations, it's going to be a little bit tricky.
Well, I know we talked about this before the series, but do you guys think Toronto hasn't really been tested yet? I mean, this was kind of their first top team
Other than this is their first matchup against the teams that we compare them to outside of FaZe in that first week.
Right.
Which is why I picked Optic in this series, because I think like Optic's been a little bit more battle tested for me. Toronto's had a weaker strength of schedule, and again, I'm not downplaying them because I do think that they are a really good team. But I wanted to see how they stack up against the teams that we're comparing them to. Like we were putting them with Optic, we were putting them with FaZe and LAT. Like I wanted to see how they would show up, and I'm gonna be honest, bro. This series was not close.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Like
it was a massive.
Toronto won a control, and it was a clean control. I was actually really well played. They had a great spawn trap on a defense, but this series was not close on maps 1, 2, and 4. So, is that a little worrisome for me because of where I currently put Toronto? Absolutely, but I still have faith in them to beat everybody else at the moment.
Yeah, Doug, what did you think about the series, Doug? Optic get a 3-1 victory. Toronto was pretty comfortable too.
I mean, Kenny, Dashy, and Shotzi have been an amazing team at 3 since they formed. And obviously, with Pred, they won the world championship. They bring in Kyler, Huke, and I mean, Huke is taking this opportunity and running with it. I think he knows he doesn't want to go back down to Challengers. It's a tough world down there. If you've ever had to go into Challengers and you want to get back into the league, best of luck. I mean, you got to make sure that the people that are making decisions are really studying Challengers and really trying to find the right fits, because a lot of these players that go down there are spending years in Challengers, never getting back in. So Huke is looking at it like, I'm never going to go back. And that's how he's playing when I'm watching these matches. He's been bringing a lot of life to Optic Gaming. He's been filling in great for Pred. They look like they haven't missed a beat. I do think that Huke's game online plays a little bit better just because of the way he cameras and challenge things. With that being said, he is still a world champion. He's still won on LAN. I'm not going to try to discredit Huke or Optic here at all. They absolutely slammed Toronto Ultra in this matchup. And I do agree. I don't think Toronto's had many matches in their split that have tested them. They've played a lot of weaker competition based off what the results have shown. But with that being said, you can't really control who you play. You just play who you play. And Toronto is 6-1. They've surprised me a lot this year. But their search and destroy has been their backbone. Obviously, once they lost that red card search, they were fighting an uphill battle, and Optic's hardpoint was just on point, especially with Huke. So when you got that sub duo just running at you, dropping 100 kills in a series, it doesn't matter who's on the other team. Like if that sub duo is just going to be running around doing their thing, it's going to be really hard for anyone to stop them. So I was just very impressed with Optic Gaming in the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what about you, Duarte? What'd you think?
I mean, I'm super impressed with Huke. Last, I think, 2 or 3 series, he's been fucking unreal. That guy's playing phenomenal. And I personally think that this game, we've said it a lot, it fits him. I don't think anybody has to worry about him performing on LAN. If it's a playstyle thing, I think if he comes out, plays with that confidence that he has online, and he just like doesn't lose his head, he's gonna play great. Dashy still continues to put up monstrous damage numbers. Shots, he's playing well. Kenny's improved. He's not like going out there and world starring, but he's doing enough that he's contributing to the team, unlike before where he was kind of getting shit on, even if they were still finding wins. So, Texas looked fucking amazing. I can't wait. I really hope we get a FaZe Optic matchup and both teams put on an absolute series, because BO6, the map vibes, like they've been feeding families. So hopefully these guys have a banger series. On the Toronto end, I wouldn't say, Sam, that this series wasn't close, at least in that search and the control, because I mean, Optic definitely outplayed the fuck out of them in that search, but 6-4 was still respectable.
I mean, it was 5-1, and Kyler dolphin dove out of a window when he could have got it.
Yeah, he fucking trolled that. He trolled that round. I think
the 6-4 looks a little better than it actually.
Yeah, exactly. But to get a couple more rounds on the board, like they still had to play those. So, I mean, I'm not gonna say that Toronto had no chance, but yeah, I mean, Toronto, I'm not too worried about them, like you guys said. I still think they're one of the better S&D teams. They haven't been tested, but they could have been an off day for them. Like they didn't look like themselves. Granted, they were playing Texas, but I think this team is, it's still good. I'm not gonna harp on them too much, because they just probably came out flat and Optic fucking fried. So I mean, I don't really got much else to say, but I just really hope we get Optic versus FaZe, because both these teams right now look like they're on a whole different fucking level.
Well, I want to talk about Toronto a little bit. Listen, I love the guys. I love Jamie, but I feel like Jamie needs to get in the mix more. I've said this before in the past with Jamie. I mean, that's just kind of like
Chris,
how he plays. I mean, that's kind of just like how Jamie plays. Like that's how Insight kind of it's like a play style thing with Insight. And granted, like he was kind of in the same damage department as the rest of his team, but dude, am I the only one that feels like sometimes he just needs to get a little bit more pep in his step? Like just a little bit more left stick. Just get,
We've been said this, but that's kind of just like his staple. That's just like how he plays. And I it's not to say that it's acceptable. We've said this for a long time about Jamie.
The only problem, Chris, is that this year he's one of the lowest bomb tier league players in like hardpoint kill per 10, and in respawn, like you're slaying in both hardpoint and control, he's in like the bottom fourth of the league in those
That's
stats.
inevitable,
Like,
though. I mean, he's playing with Beans and Joe Steves on your team and Kleenex.
No,
I mean, these players, someone's going to have to be as slow as Jamie with those players around you.
Nah, but the thing is, though, bro, for the map set that they are playing, like, bro, if you are going to play Vault, you cannot play that way. Vault is not a map you can play that way. There's two hills. There's 2 hills on the map where you can get substantial time, and every other hill, for the most part, is just flying at each other and hoping you get like maybe a 3-piece or like, you know, a scattered wipe, so that way you can get some scrap. Like, you can't be playing Vault, which they play in a lot of their series. Granted, they're not like winning it consistently enough, and you can't play that way. They played Protocol. You can't play that way on Protocol. Like, maybe you play some red cards and some fucking, what is the other map? Hacienda, and yeah, you can make some excuses for Jamie throwing some rotations and post it up and just not getting in engagements. But when you're opting to play these fast-paced maps and playing that way, unacceptable. So yeah, he needs to pick it up if they want to continue to play the map set that they play.
Yeah, people want me to pull up the Kenny clip of him getting a turn on. What the heck are they talking about? P2?
It's the last P2 on Proto. It's not his POV. It's in Codcast. It's like a third person.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I went to the last P2 and I see Kenny frying, but they're not on his screen.
Yeah, you don't see it.
Did they show a highlight of it? Did they put like a highlight out or something? I mean, I would love to show the clip, chat. I just don't have it. You know what I mean? I don't have the clip. If somebody wants to fucking throw it at me, I
think it's just talking about the Codcaster of him 180ing Jamie, which is tough because Jamie's also shooting a Shotzi, so it looks a little bit worse, but.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the protocol here. I'll play out the P2 for you guys here. You guys can watch the P2 while we break it down. But any final thoughts, guys, on the series? I mean, it was fairly comfortable for Optic. I know we're going to Madrid, so expecting Optic to come out. Do you guys think that Optic will replicate this on LAN? Do you guys agree with that? Like, do you think they'll come out and take care of business or what?
Yeah,
Definitely.
100%.
The wild card on their side of the bracket is that Thieves is there, and if Thieves kind of figure it out, I think it could get kind of interesting. But yeah, I think we're all expecting that if there's any year where if there's any where Kyler's gonna like fix this discrepancy between the hard point or sorry, just in general as KD slaying online and LAN, it's gonna be this game.
I mean, I'm taking Optic in current form in 2 of the 3 modes. I'd probably take LAT in control. They've been lights out in control. But the way that Optic's been playing, bro, I can't pick them to beat LAT in Search or Hardpoint right now, especially with their map pool. Because you're forced to play Vault or Hasi, and you're not playing Hasi if you're LAT, so you're guaranteed a Vault against Optic in Hardpoint. So
it's still possible. I mean, to be fair,
I mean, obviously, bro, they have fucking Scrap and Paco, but like, if I'm using my brain,
Thieves chucked that series into the fucking dumpster. And like, if they closed out, we might have been having a different conversation, right, about this Thieves team. So who the fuck knows?
I mean, they played a Vault against Austin today. It was horrible, and we're talking about Optic being the best Vault hardpoint team in the game.
I know shit changes, but I'm saying like I will say that Optic just looked like the way cleaner team. So I definitely have more faith in them as well.
Any other final thoughts before we take a look at the bracket for Madrid?
Just masterclass out of Hugh. I mean, that guy was in his bag, especially on that protocol hardpoint. This guy was in his bag.
He's been in his bag, Doug. He's been in his bag.
That's what I said. From the second he stepped on this roster, he has been disgusting.
Hey, you got to think maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I mean, I know a lot of people love AG, but this is just a different type of game. Like this game plays to Hook's like his strengths. You know what I mean? I feel like the Omni movement too. Like how like Kyler just has good movement. Like he's hard to kill. So you got to think. A lot of people were pissed about the pickup originally. I wouldn't say everybody. You know, obviously a lot of people love Hook.
Best case scenario, right?
He's in his AW. Remember when you first played with him in AW 10 years ago?
Dude, he was fucking gross, bro. He was disgusting.
10 years later, bro, same player.
He was different in AW too, Doug. Like he was like, bro. I remember
you guys were good.
Huh?
When he got the game, what, 2 weeks early, I think, in AW, and there was clips of him dropping 70 and 8s. Or screenshots of him dropping 70 and 8s, and everyone was like, holy fuck, this kid is disgusting.
Well, I made a YouTube video on him. I told FaZe Temper, I'm like, dude, after champs, we're dropping Pat, we're bringing in Hugh. Like, I don't care. We're bringing this guy in. And then I got dropped, and I just had to retire.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I remember watching Hook when he was in open bracket. I was watching him in open bracket. He plays top 30 something, but he was dropping just 60 kills a map. Like I remember his KD in open bracket was insane. Like it was actually crazy. And then obviously I've competed with the guy. I've played against the guy. Like, I know how good he is. And he's a fun player to play with, man. Like, you could just kind of play around him. He plays super aggressive.
And he unlocks Ant, dude. He unlocks Ant to a whole different level.
He's also a super likable guy in game and out of game as well. Like, I don't think there's anyone in the pro scene that has a bad word to say about that kid.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just loves COD.
Optic's missing one thing though that Pred had that Hugh doesn't have. It's the personality of that delusional confidence that I've seen Pred bring out on LAN consistently.
Ant has that now though, dog.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
I feel like AG bestowed that upon Ant right now. Like the way that Ant has been in recent memory, I feel like Ant has that now.
Yeah, he used to get up and start fucking flaming people when he wins a match on LAN, though.
Bro, Ant's literally screaming at the fucking webcam now. He's shooting bodies. Exactly. He's been tweeting. He's been talking shit on stream. I mean, Ant's literally, he's entered his villain arc. He's entered the villain arc for sure. Doug, do you think Shotzi's a superstar?
Yes, he's always been.
Yeah.
Thank you for your insight, Doug.
This guy's the face of God. Like, what?
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for that analysis, Doug. Thank you for that analysis. Any other
Is that
thoughts,
not
guys?
common sense?
I mean, I think he's a superstar. I think we all do. I mean, there's just
how is there an argument that he's not? I know you want to move on, but how is there an argument he's not? What doesn't he do?
What? It's just
there
Pat.
isn't an
it's
argument.
One person.
It's just Pat.
There's
You
no
know,
argument.
you know how
It's
Pat
just
gets,
Pat.
Doug. You know how he gets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like, what hasn't Ant done? What hasn't Shotzi done at this point? Like, what can you possibly say that he hasn't done?
Right. I mean, that's my argument as well.
Allen stinks.
No way.
Oh, we just cashed on the P. Ryan fucking cash, bro. We just cashed.
These guys are watching football, man. What happened? The Chiefs won? The Chiefs won?
Chiefs,
Yeah,
Eagles,
Chiefs
bro.
These motherfuckers,
Chiefs,
man.
bro.
The fucking Chiefs, man. These guys, man. They probably, the referees. Did the referees help them this time? Yeah, they probably did.
Potentially. There were a couple of calls that were questionable, but I fear that Dalton Kincaid dropped a very big pass on it.
I figured the Chiefs won because the whole chat erupted with Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs. Chiefs won again. Fuck it. The whole chat was spamming.
There's a couple calls in this game.
All right. Unless anybody has any final thoughts, I want to take a look at the bracket for Madrid. Anybody else have any thoughts here?
I'm gonna run that sheet.
All right, let's take a look at the bracket here. We get some LAN COD, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to Madrid for Major 1. Ben, I know you're going to be there with Gersh, so you'll be there on the floor, hopefully making some content, getting some interviews and shit.
What do you mean? Hopefully making content? You think I'm not going to make content?
Well, last time you got there and you said, "Oh, well, Tom, they won't let me film anywhere. It's chalked." On a first day.
We've already addressed that. I already talked to the league this week and said, "Yo, can we film in PPAs? The teams are down." They said, "Yes, we'll give you cover." So
I like that.
I've already cleaned that up.
I'm excited to see some Benji and Asim content on the floor. But let's take a look at some of these matches. We go to Madrid. We got Optic versus Miami in the first round winners. We got Carolina going up against LA Thieves in the first round of winners. That's going to be a fucking banger. We also got the Toronto Ultra going up against Vancouver Surge, and we have Atlanta FaZe going up against the Boston Breach. We also have 4 losers bracket teams. We have the Los Angeles Guerrillas Genomates, the Vegas Falcons, the Minnesota Rocker, and Cloud9, who are all awaiting their opponents from winners bracket. We'll start at the top of the bracket. We'll start with Optic. They're playing Miami. How do you think they're going to do against Miami? I think they're going to smoke Miami. I think they're going to smoke the fuck out of them.
6 feet deep, bro. They're going to slam them.
Yeah.
They should smoke the fuck out of them, but it is Madrid cheese, so you never know. They might show up and play some.
Do you think the crowd's going to be Optic or Miami in Madrid?
Well, I don't know.
Be Miami, bro. Right?
It is a weird one.
Like
I don't think anyone really knows.
Bro, the Heretics put out like a hype video reminiscing and like thanking all of their like old like Heretics like Spanish players like hyping up this major. So like you gotta think they show up in spades. You know what I'm saying?
I got Optic torching them.
I still got Optic Tort, yeah, but like you gotta there's gotta be some crowd cheese.
Greenwall runs deep. I don't know.
They run deep, man. They're worldwide, man. They're worldwide.
I say green wall in Spanish, bro.
Green wall. It's probably
the only thing I'll say about this series is like Miami is not the world's worst hardpoint team. They got a big decision to make because they're not a good vault team and they're not a good protocol hardpoint team. So do they leave protocol in and there's a chance that Optic won't play it? And then they can get that red card square up if Optic do leave it in. Like I think Miami potentially have a chance in the respawns, but I don't have faith for them in winning game 5. Search against Optic at all.
I mean, Ben, we talk about Miami giving over that slaying hump against the top teams every time they play them, bro. I think this is the same situation.
Skill diff.
Yep.
So when whoever loses, where do they go in the losers bracket? Like how do they get placed? Like who, for instance, if they whoever loses Optic Miami, who do they play in losers?
I don't think it flips until the second round, right?
Correct. That's the way it's been the CDL.
So Heretics will drop and play LAG.
They'll play LAG. Okay.
Yeah, it just goes top to bottom.
All right. So we got Optic Miami. Then we also got Carolina going up against LA Thieves. That's going to be a great matchup as well. I feel like both these teams have that potential being so great, but then they've also been sloppy, like both of them. So it's like, where is this going to go? Like, which way is this going to go? I mean, Sam, obviously you're rooting for LA Thieves. Are you feeling pretty confident with these guys going up against Carolina?
No, I'm not. I mean, the only reason I got solace right now is that Ravens has also been on a downtrend. But I mean, I'm still going to pick LAT to win. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little nervous for that series.
Siege versus Scrap.
I know, dude. Yeah. Round one.
It's a duo. TJ versus. What do you think, Duarte? Who do you think's taking it?
Yeah, I got Thieves just because I assume they're going to kick up on land. But the Ravens are no slouch. If they played good hardpoint like recently, and Thieves has been all over the place. And then that S&D, Ravens have been a good S&D team. They got Tej and Gwyn. And while the LA Thieves are kind of not good at search. So, I mean, to be honest, if I'm looking at numbers, bro, like at least with the way these teams have been playing, at least online, I think Ravens, like if we were like predicting it off that, probably have the edge here in the matchup. But you never know with the Thieves on land, right? They got that. Yeah. They got that XP. They're champions.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I don't think they have Crumble Cookie in Madrid. Do they have Crumble in Madrid?
I sure fucking hope not.
Because if they got Crumble over there, Sam, you better be worried, Sam.
I got good intel. These Carolina guys have a great accommodation at Madrid, and I think there's going to be some homemade cookies made during the event.
No way. Homemade cookies?
That's what they've been doing, Tom.
Over there, bro.
Brian's been chefing up.
Jesus Christ.
I want to say about the Ravens, bro, we need Gwyn to show up on land this year, because on land, he was not as good as he was online. He needs to play better on land if this team wants to make runs, because I feel like they have the pieces. They look good on the teamwork. Their map pool's pretty good. This is the best Ravens we've seen in a while. But Gwyn's got to turn up. He's got to play like he does online, because he's had like multiple 1.3s.
Yeah. Last year he struggled a little bit on land. I remember Clay and Fellow got dumped on online, and then they go to land and they actually shoot back. I remember Clay and Fellow would turn up, and then the subs would kind of underperform. So. Definitely expecting Gwyn and the boys to turn the fuck up on land for sure. Anybody got any more thoughts on Carolina Thieves?
Yeah, it's going to be Thieves 3-1, but if it goes to a game 5, Carolina's icing that up for sure. I think Thieves are going to win the respawns.
Yeah.
It's just a hard read series for me, because Carolina was so bad at hardpoint last week, and then this week they were good at hardpoint but bad in S&D. So like, I don't know.
I think Vivid is the X factor for Carolina. I think if Reese is having a good series and he's playing well, I think Carolina is going to look a lot better. Who would you say is the X factor for Carolina? Who would you guys say?
Honestly, right now, Reese, but right now I'm gonna say Slasher, bro. I'm saying Slasher. No, I'm saying Slasher, bro. When Slasher was fucking that literally Thanos at the beginning of the season, like this is when they got all their fucking hype. And like right now, he's had a little bit of inconsistencies. When Slasher plays well, because we know the type of player Slasher is. He's one of those like fundamentally like sound players, always making good plays, right plays. But when he's shooting back and dropping numbers while playing the way he plays, this team has a lot of potential. So,
Yep. All right, want to move on? Unless anybody else got anything else to say? Anybody? All right, let's move on. You good, Ben?
No, I can move on. No, I think Chris got my thought. I'll let it say it.
All right, well, comment on what? What are you gonna let say? Just say it.
No, I think Austin played a little bit better this week. I think the concern I have with Austin is just purely a control thing. Like, I think his respawns and search have been good. It's just control. Like, I think he really struggles in that game mode so far this year. And I'm just looking up the stats at a 0.93 control KD on the season in the last 3 series. He's averaging like a 0.7.
To be fair, control is a submachine guns game mode, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
You can get lost with a sub on control.
You can just be everywhere with the sub, especially like protocol is all spawn trapping, vault, mid map. You don't even run a fucking AR until like B is the only point. You know what I'm saying? And then Hacienda's all the hallways. Like it's
Haci's a sub map. Haci. I feel like on Hacienda, like
that's crazy.
I feel like you can get active. I think the new map design helped the subs on that map.
Nah, it did.
Because now that you have that little hallway with the window, like subs can go secret and go up and they can play that hall. Those are all close quarter combats where in the past on Hacienda, like the hallways was dominated by ARs because they're obviously just long range fights. So ARs can kind of go up there and just lock down those lanes. But now subs can actually finesse up there. Like they can play up through like window room. They can play secret. And they can obviously work through open and get pushed up open. They can lay down behind the little wood barrier there, right by rock. But
hold on. I'll also counter that. Like Scrap has no problem getting kills in hardpoint. MC's got no problem getting kills in hardpoint. Even Abuza's got no problem getting kills in hardpoint. I don't think or control. Sorry, I don't think same thing applies. I don't think it applies to all ARs, but I do think like we talked with some ARs, like they are definitely struggling that game mode. To your point, Chris.
Ben, say Abuza again.
Abuza. Did I say it weird?
I don't know.
Like Abuza.
Did I say it weird? Like I don't know.
No,
I'm still off the NyQuil on the show, so I don't know what to tell you guys. Like
he's faded right now off the NyQuil.
But I think listen, also got to play better in control, and I think Paco is a big X factor for Thieves in this series because if Paco's a walk-in 0.7 S&D again.
Nah, like, I think needs to wake the fuck up, bro. What
Carolina could definitely take this in 5.
I don't know. You go to his screen and
like.
like he's still moving good. He's still shooting good. Like I just don't know. Sometimes it looks like his timings are off or like he's feeling like a little uncomfortable at times. But I mean, the mechanics are still there. I think he just needs to figure it out. I don't see Paco being the type of player, bro, who's just not going to perform at a high level on LAN. Like I feel like when he goes to Madrid, like he's gonna have a good event. I'm expecting him to have a good event. Would you guys agree with me on that or no?
I sure fucking hope so.
I mean, Tom, if you told me that before the season that in one split Paco would have a 0.74 in S&D, I don't know. I would be like, are we just on like the only players that have been worse in search statistically are Reese, Abuza, and King of Body.
That's
by the way,
crazy. That's actually insane.
He's also near the bottom of the league in first blood percentage as well.
I mean, it's just a little bit. It's like Mbappe when he went to Real Madrid. Right? You just gotta give him some time just to kind of settle in, maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see how he plays. I mean, obviously, I think we all think really highly of Hydra. I mean, this guy's literally been like one of the best players, if not the best player, the last couple of years. So we're expecting Hydra to turn up at the event. But let's move on to the next one. Toronto Ultra going up against the Vancouver Surge. I'll be honest. I think Toronto's taking this one. I just think Toronto looks so much stronger than Vancouver up until this point. I think if Vancouver's going to have any chance in this series, we need to see superstar Abuza. I think Abuza needs to step up and be that superstar player that we know he can be. I think when you look at Vancouver, I think 04 has kind of been that guy for them. But I definitely think, and especially Nasty and Hicksy, those guys got to get kills, man. Like if these guys want to beat Toronto Ultra, those guys need to step up and get kills. But I think Toronto's going to be too strong for them, so I probably have Toronto in that one. What do you think, Chris? We'll go from the bottom up. What do you think, Duarte?
I got Toronto. Hicksy needs to shoot back, period. Like, I've said this, yeah, the methodical player in this game matters to a degree, but these maps are just way too fast-paced and mixy, bro. You got to get people that are shooting and getting those trades, because one missed trade in this game sends your team into the fucking gulag spawn trap of hell, so...
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Sam?
I said my bad, Hicksy.
I mean,
I'm just calling it how it is.
Yeah, I mean, speaking facts, I mean, dude, they've been struggling, bro. They've been really struggling. Like they're gonna have to step it up in the kill department for sure. What about you, Doug? What do you think?
I think Ultra is gonna win this pretty convincingly. I still feel Ultra had a very, like honestly, looking at the strength of schedule for Ultra Split, it was probably as easy as it could ever get when you look at the matches. But at the same time, again, like you can only control what's in front of you, and I just feel like Ultra just keeps on getting really good matchups. I think Surge for Toronto Ultra, I feel like Surge is a great matchup. I think they're going to come out swinging. I don't think this is going to be too close. I think it'll be a 3-0.
I will say this is a sleeper series. They played really early on in the season, and I think they went map 5, and I think they even went like round 11 or something. It was
correct.
Game 5, round 11 protocol.
Yeah, they had a great series against each other, and that was I think when Vancouver was playing worse COD than they are now. So, I mean, who knows? There is a world here where they could win. I think Hicksy did turn up in that series. So, if there's a series he's going to turn up, it's going to have to be this one again.
I agree. Vancouver's on a 3-game win streak going into this one. I think Toronto still win, but don't count out the game 5. We've seen 50% of them so far this year. The series overall.
Insane stat.
That is an insane
50% of
stat.
the matches have gone to game 5?
Yes.
That's
great.
fucking wild.
I will say, though, this year in general, I feel like we've gone a lot of game 5s, no? I feel like we've gone game 5 so much this year.
Half the series, Tom. That is correct.
I thought you meant just Toronto. I thought the stat
No,
was just
half
Toronto.
the series have been game 5.
Oh, my bad. I thought you meant just Toronto. Now I look like a moron. Damn, that's crazy. So throughout the whole league, half the fucking series have gone to a map 5. That's fucking crazy. I'm faded for that. All right, any other thoughts, Sam? You got any other thoughts of Toronto, Vancouver?
Nah, I'm picking Toronto confidently against anyone that isn't the top 3 teams right now.
All right, and we got Atlanta FaZe going up against the Boston Breach. I think this one's going to be a banger. I'll be honest. I know Atlanta FaZe slammed them last time. I don't think it's going to be as easy this time as it was when they just played. I do think Atlanta FaZe is the best team in the game right now. I'm trying to put my bias aside, but just the way they've been playing, I feel like they're back. Like, I feel like they're shooting. But this Boston Breach team is obviously no team to take lightly. Like, these guys are insane. I can see Boston going back and looking at that series they played against FaZe and probably adjusting a lot of things. I almost feel like Boston underperformed last time they played Atlanta. Like, I think they're way better than that. So I expect a good series here. But I'm going to go with Atlanta FaZe in this one. With the way they've been playing, I expect them to come out hot. And I know they had a slow start to the season, so you know they want to go into Major 1 and come out hot, right, and get a W there, and maybe get back to the top of those leaderboards on the colleague standings. But what do you think, Benjay? You think Boston can take FaZe here, or do you think FaZe has this in the bag?
I think Boston's got to win their hardplay map pick in this one because they went with Skyline the last time they played, and like FaZe, it was a close map, but I think FaZe should have won that a little bit more comfortably. And Boston's got to respect, I think, FaZe's strengths on protocol, and FaZe are obviously going to respect Boston's strengths on vault. So, like, do Boston, because I assume the videos are going to be the same, like, do they try Hacienda Hardpoint instead of Skyline? I'm going to say FaZe 3-1, to be honest.
All right, what about you, Sam?
I'm going to pick FaZe to win, but I think now that we've seen a full qualifier cycle from Boston, I think their teamwork can keep them in pretty much any series. So I'm going to pick FaZe, but I would not be surprised if Boston can extend the series. Win it, I think, is a completely different conversation. I think they need a pretty crazy takeover performance from one of their players like Snoopy had today. But I'm not going to completely write them out of the series, just strictly off of the teamwork and the way that those guys play together.
Yeah, what about you, Doug? These are your boys right here, Doug. How do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I think if we're going to play FaZe, playing them round 1 is great. You want to play against FaZe before they start getting their feet under them. It seems like that's the most vulnerable you see from FaZe, if they're ever going to be vulnerable at all. I think if we go to a game 5, we have a really good chance of winning it. I think our boys play them extremely well in practice, consistently. So I know that we got slammed by them in the match last time. It seemed like the only match this whole year where we really didn't come out looking good, and FaZe has been hitting form. But I think playing them round 1 on LAN, obviously there's going to be adjustments made. And I think if we go to a map 5, I feel really confident. So I'm going to take us 3-2.
Okay.
I'm just really concerned about Wake in this series. Like, he's an X factor in this series. Like, if you get the bigger version of Wake, this could be a really fun one. If it's not the Wake we saw in the last series, and Snoop has like a mediocre series, like this one could end in 30 minutes.
We've seen spurts of Wake this year, of him turning up. We've seen spurts of it. There'll be maps where he's just having a hard time, and then there'll be maps where he's going crazy. For me, watching Wake play, sometimes I feel like he just needs to simplify things a little bit. He's trying to do too much and trying to look at too much. I think if he simplifies his game a little bit, he'll be a little bit more consistent. But I mean, you know, Big Wake can shoot, right? I mean, he's a very talented player, so you know, he's just got to find ways to be consistent, and I think it'll help this team a long way. But what do you think, Duarte?
Yeah, I was going to say the same. I think Big Wake and Cammy, like their ARs got to shoot because Celium has been on another level, so they got to find a way to control him, you know, and kind of not make him a non-issue in this series. It's going to be hard because, yeah, he's been the superstar lately. So they want to win. They got to have an answer for Celium. Otherwise, this team's going to fall flat. And again, I could see this being a quick series.
Yep, 100%. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for the major. Just can't wait to get into it. We're going to have a lot of great games coming up. But let's get a little fantasy update, ladies and gentlemen, and see what's going on here. Gersh is 5-0. This guy cannot be stopped. This guy's winning everything.
That's insane.
I mean, I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed. We're going to scroll down and take a look at the matchups here. I played Gersh and lost by a point. I was up 7-4 going into the last series with Kleenex. And somehow, some way, I went from 7-4 to 5-6 after the Toronto series. So I think I'm getting skumazed. I'm going to be honest. I think somebody's skumazing me. I don't know who it is, but something's going on. Because this guy Gersh can't keep getting away with this, man. He can't keep getting away with this. It's a hard point where he took me. And honestly, look how close it was. A 1 to a 1.1 in the hard point KD. 58.1 to 59.6 in hard point damage per 10 minutes. You have, hard point damage per 10 minutes. Look how close it was, 3,125 to 3,178. And then it was 24.1 to 24.9 in hard point kills per 10 minutes. So what the hell, man? I got scumashed. All I needed was Kleenex to just keep doing what he was doing. And honestly, he had a good series. I expected this to be a W. But I don't know. Somehow along the way, Nita Ray's Gersh comes in hot and takes care of business. I don't know. His name is Nita Ray's, please. And then we got Team Crim6 going up against Team Benjay. Team Crim beat Team Benjay with 3 players in the squad.
It's 3v4. What the fuck is this shit?
Bro, I think 3v4 might be a good thing.
I think it's because Cammy threw up a generational shitty.
Like, brother,
Cammy didn't help me out this week.
If I had less players on my team, I probably would have won. I was up 7-4 if more matches weren't played.
Because Cam had a tough one, man. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, it was a 3v3 then.
I mean, yeah, Porter had you in the S&D in control. I mean, that's where he took care of business. Maybe next time, Benjay. Then we got Team Kason versus Team Colt Havoc. Kason gets the W on this one over Colt. Taking the hard points pretty convincingly. The S&D was tied, and then obviously the control goes to Colt. But just because Kason was able to sweep in the hard point, get some 4 points there, Kason was able to run away with that one. What happened, Duarte?
It's because Snoopy had a fucking nuke, dude.
Yeah, Snoopy went fucking insane. He went absolutely crazy. And then we got Sam going up against the Nubbler. But Sam, you fall short as well against that nub.
Took me down, man. I mean, the Abizi Hook duo is just cheese.
The Abizi Hook duo that Nub has right now is probably a masterclass duo.
Paco's giving me fuck all. Wake played the hardest schedule this week. I mean, Linz is on LAG, and fucking Beans got torched today, bro. It was a bad week.
I think it's the biggest thing for you, Sam, is your superstar, your first pick, hasn't been dropping the numbers you need him to. You know what I mean?
No, he has not, man. No, he is not.
And then you have Duarte just absolutely slaying out here against the Slayer.
World star.
I mean, you have Celium, Duarte. He's got to be, bro. He's got to be fucking destroying the points here.
Yo, he's got to be, bro.
You know, you did lose the hard points, though. You did lose the points on hard points.
Yeah,
Slayer got you beat.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Wait, look at it, Chris. Look at the damage he beat you here with in a hard point. 3,104 to 3,106. That is fucking insane on how close that is. Honestly, just seeing these matchups and seeing how close everybody is in these matchups is kind of crazy. But we'll definitely keep you guys updated on fantasy.
Well, you know how the playoffs work in this, right, Tom?
Nah, how does it work? I actually have no idea.
So the top 4 teams are going to advance to the playoffs. So Pat, Sam, Krim, Tom, you obviously, Kason and Colt. We'll see you guys later. You guys did not advance. The 4 of us will play Roto style categories across the 4 of us to determine a winner.
So we're picking. This is for Major 1, right? This draft, and
right.
then we'll do another draft for Major 2 for Stage 2.
Yep.
Yeah. This is some bullshit, man. This is some bullshit.
So I'm in playoffs.
Yeah, me, you, the Nubby Roseman, and fucking Gersh.
You're in playoffs, Duarte. Congratulations, man.
Can I still make a sub out, bro? Like,
yeah. I think on Monday you can.
I'm about to, dude. Attach is costing me, dog.
Let's try the waiver for that AR spot is dry, brother. There ain't shit.
It's so dry. I've been trying to play matchups in the AR waiver. It's tough, man.
I was streaming that second AR. It was not it.
I think next split we should have a bench spot. It occurred to me that the lack of a bench spot I think kind of hurt us.
Who do we put on our bench?
Well, you're gonna have to figure it out.
Like, is it just like a sub, or is it like an extra player that's in the league?
Here's how I would do it. I would say if we want to do it correctly, we go down to 1 AR, 1 SMG, and 2 flex spots, and then 1 bench spot. It gives you more flexibility to put people into roles, therefore making that bench spot like more actually usable and not just a stash.
You got it, Ben.
We got to tip Nub's call on the draft, bro.
Gotta tip it, man.
Drafted Kyler. He's a fucking goat.
No, we're not.
Yeah, but he dropped Kyler and then picked him back up. So hold on.
You want to know what we're not going to tip? The fact that people literally just didn't pick up Kyler and now he's on Optic.
Yeah,
happens, man.
It's crazy. All right, well, we're excited for Major 1. We'll see what happens on fantasy. But Benjay, it's time. You have missed 2 in a row, Benjay. You have missed 2 in a row.
Yeah, but I've been pretty sick this week, Tom. I'm not in like tip-top shape.
You got to find your inner flu game, Benjay. You're feeling better today? I need you to sink this pot. There's 15 million channel points on a make And there's 10 million, about 10 million on a miss here. Doug, you're our special guest. Doug, we always let the special guest do a prediction here. You think Benjay's sinking his putt or what?
He's sinking it.
Oh, man. You heard Doug said some more in here first, folks. Can Benjay sink the putt? Let's see what this guy can do. There's 22 million channel points on Ben sinking the putt. We have 9,000 people in a live stream right now. Let's see if Benjay Nassim can lock it in here and take care of business as he lines things up.
First day for the record, I have made the biggest putt this season on this show.
You have. You did for the first class seat. You did hit the putt for the first class. It was impressive. But we need you to hit it now because there's 25 million channel points on you making it. So they're relying on you, Benjay, as he steps up to the plate and he makes the putt.
I hit that, baby. I knew it was in the minute I hit that.
Benjay Nassim sinks it. And he respects the channel points, guys. He's respecting the channel points tonight.
Putting, Benjay?
What's that?
Oh, man.
Are you land putting?
I don't. Well, here's the problem: is that at the event we have a curfew at 10 p.m. local. So I have a bit of a situation where I might have to leave the event early in order to get back to be able to do the show.
Absolutely.
How long the show goes? Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. But
Absolutely. Well, listen,
it's not a venue thing; it's a city thing. There's not really much to do about it.
Want to give a huge thank you to Doug for hopping into today's Flank episode. Thank you very much, Doug. I appreciate it.
Doug, man.
Always a pleasure having you on, Doug, and congrats on all the recent success with the squad. They've been looking unbelievable, and I'm excited to get into the majors. So it's gonna be a good one. And then obviously, thank you so much to everybody in the chat this week and everybody in the chat right now. Everybody that's in the chat during the watch parties. The energy has just been absolutely insane. So just thank you to everybody who's been coming in hot and just showing some love, man. We'll definitely get back into it for the major. Super excited about it. So as always, guys, just thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Anchor.fm/The Flank. Check out all the audio sites that we're on. Go follow @The Flank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials per usual. We got new merch coming soon, so make sure to check out ZOOMAA.gg. And of course, guys, join the community if you haven't already. The community is spotlighted to the Flank Twitter and my Twitter, so make sure to go check it out. As always, take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of The Flank, man. Take it easy. Absolutely.
Later.
Peace out.